Could you kind of dive into a little bit more about the that importance of dissociating from that self identity that we create for ourselves, and why is it even important to do that in the first place?
Okay, so first of all, I would use a word a little bit different from dissociate, because in psychology, dissociate is avoidant. In
Okay,
other words,
yeah, nice. You're going there, yeah.
you're avoiding something because of shame or fear, and so there's a kind of internal splitting or separation. And the process that I'm talking about, I think more accurately would be called disidentification.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what you're referring to, I know. And it means seeing through our limited identities. And generally, we're very identified with certain beliefs about who we are. And sometimes they're conscious, and very often they're subconscious or right on the level of consciousness. For instance, there may be, a very simple, deep feeling that I'm lacking something essential, or that I'm flawed. These are generally the two, I find, constellating core beliefs that tend to drive us, and they're often formed in childhood based on our experience, and it seems inevitable that we are conditioned this way to some degree. And so it's almost like living with, kind of living in a fog, or living with glasses on that are, dark and obscured. And so we actually don't see very clearly. We see through very limited vision of lack or flaw, or we compensate for that. And we have a grandiose image of ourselves. But they're both defenses, and neither one of them really are accurate reflections of who we are. So in the process of disidentification, we see, I have this belief about myself being lacking or flawed or being separate, and I see with utmost clarity it's not true. And it's like a shedding of a veil. It's an unveiling process. And so the result is, it's very interesting working with these beliefs, because they're very associated with reactive feelings and bodily or somatic contractions. Whenever we believe a falsehood, there's actually a contraction on a subtle level in our body, and also an intense or sometimes subtle negative emotional reaction. And so it's a complex, and they feed on each other. We have these emotional reactions, and then we think, something's wrong with me, or we feel a knot of contraction in our belly or in our heart or our throat, and we interpret that as meaning something about our essential nature. So the main thing here is to recognize that regardless of the conditioning that we've gone through, regardless of our beliefs and emotional reactions and somatic contractions, we are already whole on the level of essence. And so the disidentification process is the discovery of our native wholeness regardless of our conditioning. And as we discover that experientially, not as a philosophy, but as a direct experience, a direct knowing within ourselves, it's very liberating. It gives us a lot of space then to be accepting and compassionate towards our own conditioned experience, and that provides an optimal environment for that to unfold and integrate as well. So it supports the transformational process. So disidentification, the letting go of who we think we are and who we feel we are, creates an open space for us simply to be who we are, and also for our conditioning to transform and be more aligned with that.